All right. Hello, hello, hello. This video is the first of two or three going through the pre-lab for the flame test lab. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about safety concerns. I'm also going to do a brief introduction of kind of the purpose of the lab so you understand what's going on with a couple other things. So uh, two reasons we're going through this. The first is to talk about electron excitation and de-excitation, which we'll talk more about when we're doing the procedure. Second is to familiarize you with using a Bunsen burner, which again, we'll spend more time on the procedure. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be spraying liquids that have metals dissolved in them. It's water. It's got metals dissolved in it. You're going to spray that into a flame, and the flame is going to change color. So these are going to, or I'm going to give you all the chemicals that we actually dissolved to get those metal ions. But what you're ultimately going to have to do is you're going to have to identify them. Unfortunately, some of these are not dangerous, but worry-worthy. Let's go with that. So we're going to talk about some of the safety concerns and precautions involved with each of these. We're going to start with the three group 1 metals, and that's going to be lithium, sodium, and potassium. So all of these are chlorides. What that means is the metal ion is bonded to a chlorine atom. So lithium chloride is one lithium atom bonded to a chlorine atom, LiCl. And then lithium chloride, because it's bonded to chlorine, will dissolve in water. So, ta-da. Now, lithium, sodium, and potassium, they're probably the least dangerous out of these 9 chemicals that we're going to be working with. Or at least the chlorides are. Can be toxic if swallowed or inhaled in large amounts. You want to avoid breathing it in. Because if you inhale it, it can get in your lungs and it can kill you. It probably won't actually kill you unless you inhale a lot, but it can make you very, very sick. So we want to avoid that. Lithium, in particular, can also cause some eye injury, permanent respiratory damage. It's the most dangerous of these 3. So yeah, we want to be careful with these because they can be dangerous. Then we have calcium, strontium, and barium. Again, all chlorides. So calcium chloride, if inhaled or swallowed, is again going to be dangerous, can cause some lung problems. It is a more significant eye irritant. That's not a concern, though, right? Because, goggles. No eye problems. You don't have to worry about eye problems because y'all are going to be wearing goggles. So non-issue. So yeah, the breathing it in is more what we're really worried about. Strontium is another one. It's an eye irritant, but it's not too much of a skin irritant. And then barium chloride can be toxic if inhaled or swallowed. Don't want to inhale the fumes. Then we have our 3 transition metals, which are cobalt 2, nickel 2, and copper 2. Again, all chlorides. Now, these are mean. Let's start with cobalt. Cobalt is toxic if inhaled or swallowed. Nothing new there. Suspected carcinogen. If it gets into your lungs, it can actually irritate your lung tissue to the point where it can instigate some lung cancer. Okay, or it is a suspected carcinogen. We haven't proven that it can do that, but we have good reason to believe it's possible. It is a severe skin irritant. If you get this on your skin, it can cause a very bad rash that can ooze and cause a lot of problems. Okay, so you do not want to get cobalt on your skin. Nickel 2 chloride, much the same, toxic if swallowed, suspected carcinogen if inhaled, mild skin irritant. You don't want to get this on your skin. And then copper 2 chloride is not a carcinogen, so it's not quite so dangerous as the others. But it is, again, toxic if swallowed or inhaled, and it is a severe skin irritant. So we are going to be taking a couple of extra safety steps in this lab to kind of, you know, keep you alive. First and foremost, there are some required things here. You are required to wear goggles. Duh. You are also going to have gloves that you're going to be wearing for this lab, and you're going to be required to wear masks. Yes, we're taking a trip back in time to the COVID era, and everybody is going to wear a mask that is going to cover your nose, or I'm going to kick you out of the lab, and you will write the essays instead. Okay? So, gloves and mask. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about proper way to like remove gloves and some things to be aware of that we're going to be talking about as well. You guys should all know where the sinks are because we mentioned them in the last lab in case you got acid on you or because you did get base on you because, you know, it was part of the procedure. Aprons are available but not required, and I recommend a long sleeve shirt. Now, I don't mean wear a long sleeve shirt to school. What I mean is wear whatever to school that day and bring a second shirt to change into for lab. Okay? You are going to be using spray bottles that are going to be spraying this chemical. Okay? And that aerosol could potentially settle on your arms while you're doing this lab. Okay? So long sleeves will protect that. But if you then wear that shirt the rest of the day and you rub it on your forehead or you touch it with your hand and then you start rubbing at your eye, you can spread that chemical. Okay, now if you're careful, it shouldn't be too big of a concern of you getting anything on you. But I personally wouldn't want to risk it. So, yeah. I would recommend bringing a long sleeve shirt to change into, not a sweater, not a jacket, not a coat, not a hoodie, a long sleeve shirt. Okay? And as always, rule of thumb, when in doubt, bring a t-shirt. You can always change into a t-shirt. Don't go to the restroom if you need to wash your hands. Use the sinks that are in the room. There is something. Oh, I need to go get a couple of things so we can talk about this. So I'll be right back. All right, so I want to demonstrate a couple of things. First off, we do have 3 or 4 different sizes of gloves, small, medium, large, and we have some extra large for those of you with really big hands. We will have gloves taped down to a table in Mr. Humphrey's room so you can kind of get an idea of which size you need before you head over here. Okay, this is one of the spray bottles you're going to be using. This one just has water in it. So there's no major concerns here. And what you're going to be doing, you can see that it's got the nozzle there. You're going to be spraying this. You can't really see it. I was hoping you might be able to. Spraying this, and you want the cloud to go into the flame on your Bunsen burner. And that aerosolized liquid with those metal ions in it is going to... well, what's going to happen is the electrons are going to do their thing. Okay, make sure when you are spraying this, you need to look at it, make sure that you know where this is. When you're got your finger on it, it should be pointed in the same direction as your finger is. Okay, you don't want to be, if you're holding it like this, then when you spray it, it's going to come at you. You don't want that. Okay, so make sure that you're holding it with the white part facing in the same direction as your finger, so you know what direction it's going to go in when you spray it. Okay, and then we'll cover Bunsen burner safety while we're going through how to use the Bunsen burner, because that's something you're going to have to know how to do anyway. When you finish the experiment, and potentially a couple of times in between, if you need to clear your goggles out, you are going to have to take your gloves off. Okay, when you do that, you don't want to touch, or you don't want to touch the outside of the gloves with your hands. So, what you want to do is you want to kind of grasp the part of it here so that you can hook it. So it's hooked over here. Do the same thing on the other side. Get it and hook your finger underneath, and then you can pull the gloves off. and they will turn inside out. So now everything that was on the outside of the gloves is on the inside. So these are safe to touch. These can go into the trash can, and you can put on new gloves if you need to when you're done. I would recommend you wash your hands at the end of the day for this lab. You don't want to find out at the end of the day after rubbing your eye that you got something on your hand. Okay, the gloves, the chemicals aren't going to make it through the gloves. Those aren't going to do any damage to the gloves. But if you take them off wrong or touch something, it's going to be possible. So be careful. That's pretty much it for the safety video. So I'm going to pause this here or stop this here. And yeah, we'll figure it out from there. So have a wonderful night, wonderful day, eat, whatever. And I will see you in the next video.